You're listening to the Writer's Block podcast with L.A. Wade.
I want to just start off with a very simple question, which is, who are you and how did you get here?
Okay, who am I? I am Sheronna Osbourne, artist, friend, daughter, world thinker, world traveler, explorer. And how did I get here?
Not the birds and the bees conversation.
The first thought that comes to my mind is a lot of trial and error.
That's fair.
Humbled my way through, honestly, as I
said.
That is my honest truth today.
No, but that's good because I always think about, I like to ask this question also as a follow-up when people, they don't know what to say to the question, who am I? It's kind of like, who am I? But who are the major players? Who are the characters, the main characters in your personal life, and how have they added to who you've become?
Well, I have a really close relationship with my mom.
Love that.
And she has definitely played a huge part in who I am and who I'm becoming. Mainly, aside from, watching and observing and kind of taking cues of life from her, more so on the side of genuine support. I feel like there's nothing I cannot do.
Yeah.
And I think that confidence definitely starts within my household, with my relationship with my mom, and then my girlfriends. I'm an only child, so the girlfriends, sisters, and I'm really adamant about just curating relationships that fuel and feed. Those are the people who have really played a big part in my journey, really.
Right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, and that's who you are, and that's how you came to be, and these are major players in your life. But you also are, to your point, is an artist. Yes. And that artistry, I believe, had begun in costume design. Right? And you're part of the Toronto IATSE costume department, which I don't know how many Black women are actually in the union for that. So I want to learn about that, and I want to understand how that type of career led you into doing the bigger things, not even the bigger things, the different things of producing and directing and acting, and which one do you love more?
Okay, so to start with, my journey into costume with IATSE, I've been doing it for many years now. I don't, people go here like, how many years? How old is she? I've been doing it for a long time, but when I always knew that I wanted to act. I always knew that I wanted to be in film. But when I finished college and stuff like that, I just didn't actually know how to become an actor or to become a director. And then fashion was always just a part of my life. People who know me for a really long time know that. And so when I learned about the union, like, oh, okay, here's an opportunity to blend my love for fashion and my love for film together in some kind of way. Though I'm not on screen yet, I'm in the atmosphere,
Right.
And I've learned so much about directing, so much about acting, so much about producing from the costume lens.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm really thankful that the disciplines could kind of cross each other, and they cross each other constantly in my career today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Two things as a follow-up. Like, people may not know what IATSE is. I just kind of like cutting, when you want to feel good and you say a word that people may not, that's not it. So we're going to explain that. And then we're going to understand a little bit more about how costume design, I think, bled into your understanding of character development. And you can explain the connection between those two.
Yeah, so so basically within Toronto or within Canada, we have two major film unions. One is IATSE and one is NABET. And IATSE just is like the one that does American productions as well as Canadian productions, and then NABET is predominantly Canadian productions. But it's just the union in which all the tech people work under, right? So your camera guys, your lighting guys, your makeup, your hair, all the things. So that's what it is.
Right.
And in terms of my experience with costume leading to character development for me, yeah, I mean, I think now, just because I've been doing costumes for so long, when I take on a character, even at the early stage of like the audition stage, the first thing I think about is, what is this character wearing?
Yeah, exactly.
And what does their costume say about them, about their personality, or how can I pull out certain character traits based on what they're wearing? And that's just like naturally where my mind goes, and because it's just a comfort and safe space for me to start. And then as I learn more about the character and that kind of thing, the character development just naturally evolves. But definitely understanding even time period, you know what I mean? I used to wear a certain bra or a certain panty based on what frame. You know what I mean? Like, it goes that deep.
Well, yeah, I think of at least, I don't know a lot of the work, but I know that you were part of the Handmaid's Tale, and I'm obsessed with. I was obsessed. I finally finished it all.
Great.
But when I didn't even know. I didn't know that you were the one that did the costume design there. And I remember reading the book.
And I was a buyer on that show.
But explain the difference.
Okay.
And then I'll go on about like how interesting it was to have read the book and then seen the translation of that in wardrobe from that department.
Yeah. So basically, in the costume department, there's several different roles, right? So costume designer would be basically at the top, and that's kind of like the boss of everybody else who's working in costumes. But alongside the costume designer would be costume assistants, tailors, seamstress, a costume buyer, which is predominantly what I do. And then when we get to set, you're then, like a set person who is solely looking after the costumes as they are being worn on the actor. So my particular job, I've done all the jobs throughout the years, but the one that I lean into the most when it comes to costume is buying. So in a case like Handmaid's Tale, it would be like literally shop. That show in particular is a lot of builds, which means they're making the costumes from scratch because they're so specific.
Yeah, they're very specific.
But there's also a big portion of it that you're shopping, And, whenever I tell people that I'm like a professional mall rat, they're like, fun, but really, like, I'm in traffic a lot, and I do a lot of returns, and
my gosh, I was just thinking you'd be so fun to go shopping with.
But can I tell you, I do not go into a mall on my off time. I'm so like, no,
I'm over it.
Online.
And I bet you get to keep some of the stuff or pick up something for yourself along the journey. So
like when there are a lot of perks, in the sense of like, oh, this didn't work for the actor. Like, I can't, I can buy it off the show or whatever it is, So yeah.
I love that. Okay. So that was your costume stuff. And then you bleed it into some of your actor development and character development for people you're creating. In terms of your directing, I want to talk a little bit about a quote that I read that you said, so don't worry, it's not just like out there. I think you said this.
Okay.
Directing Silence of the Land was a pivotal moment for me, as it allowed me to explore Black experiences in Toronto in a deeply personal way. So my follow-up is, what were some of the most impactful stories or moments that emerged while making Silence of the Land, and how did they shape the final film?
So, Silence of the Land was actually my first attempt at directing film. And that was during the pandemic, like the height of the pandemic. And so, ooh, that was such a heavy time. It feels far away, but not so far away. But when I think about that film and what we did with that, or the messages that we were trying to get across at that time, was really a reflection of how I felt. Aside from the world being shut down, it was the height of like the BLM movement, and for the first time, I can say, like, just consciously, I felt the divide.
Mm.
And in a way, in Canada, in Toronto, that I hadn't previously felt before.
Really?
Where I remember, the world shut down. We don't have nothing to do. And I remember just taking walks in the park by my house and seeing, 3 to 4 white men walking past. And for the first time, feeling a little uneasy. Like, can something pop off? Am I safe here? Like, you know what I mean? And that was the backbone of where Silence of the Land came from. Just the kind of juxtaposition of experiences of what we were used to versus what is highlighted now. And that's where that came from. And I think through that is when I really got to experience what it meant to be a vulnerable storyteller.
I was just going to ask you, because it seems like such a deeply personal project. How did you overcome any creative blocks or, censoring or, impression management type stuff, because you're introducing something that's deeply personal to you into a country really that I don't know have come complete terms with what personal truth is for African Canadian people, African Caribbean Canadian people.
Honestly, I do remember doing some scenes where it felt like, are we like going too far with this moment here, or can we tell the whole truth of what this really feels like what it felt like or feels like to be pulled over by a police officer and having to grab your phone and record just in case anything pops off, and like what that really feels like. But I think the team at the time and just everybody, the actors, were just very sensitive to the matter, and it allowed the space to just say and do what we really wanted. We had nothing to lose.
Yeah, no, you never have anything to lose. Always go for it. That's my motto. It gets me in trouble sometimes, but it is what it is. I've entered the season. I was just telling my boyfriend I've entered the season of I don't really care season. I don't really care. I care what I think and what I feel.
Season. I love that season.
This is the season for me. And no disrespect, but like respectfully, this is about me right now.
Exactly that.
Okay, you also said, possibly, winning the Audience Award for Roni at the Toronto Short Film Festival was an incredible validation of your work and vision. How did winning the Audience Award for Roni influence your career trajectory, and what doors did it open for you as a filmmaker?
Oh, man. So similar to Silence of the Land, Roni was an experimental project. It was the first attempt at me as a comedic actress. I was like, I'm not really funny like that. You know what I mean?
You're funny like that. You're funny like that.
I was like, it was co-written, and we all just kind of like creatively put this storyline together. And so sending it off to film festivals and actually like getting some reception, and then I remember showing Roni as like a preview to another film that we had done one year, and everyone was just roaring with laughter and that kind of thing. And then so to win that actual award from an actual festival was just very validating. And I think what it added to me as a filmmaker really was just the confidence to, like, if something feels right, like, don't second guess it too much, or don't even overthink it too much, which I'm guilty of doing all the time.
Right. The way that we get in our own way. I was just about to ask you that. Like, were there moments of self-doubt or blocks that you had to push through in order to achieve the recognition?
All the time. And because I'm constantly approaching film from like so many different angles, like, are the costumes right? Does the hair look right? Is this the right angle? Does my body look okay? Like all those.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? Like, so to win an award like the audience award, it means like, oh, complete strangers, who are not attached to this project or attached to me in any kind of way, like, received this well. And moving forward, I was like, every time I have that experience, like somebody laughs at the joke that I wrote, or I acted in something, or somebody felt the heart clenching sentence that I just said, I'm always like, I
did that.
Like, I can do this, and that's always the biggest takeaway for me going into the next project.
I love that. Okay, we're going to play a little game called Would You Rather.
Okay.
So, would you rather always have to wear a costume or always be in character? Which for me just feels like the same thing in a way, but
I know. Okay.
Unless your character is naked.
Okay, I'm gonna say I rather always have to be in character.
Okay. You don't want to.
I feel like I do that in my normal life. Like, I be today, and then the costume kind of just follows.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I get that. Okay. Would you rather direct a blockbuster hit or act in an award-winning indie film?
Ooh. Okay. I think my answer to that is act in an award-winning indie.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you'll get the blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because the blockbuster could be big and could be trash.
Could be.
Because both things can be true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Would you rather only be able to write scripts or only be able to direct them? Direct films.
Direct. Yeah.
Really?
See how you are like a writer? I am like a writer. Like, like that's honest truth. Like, I be trying, you know what I mean? So, I'm still learning and I'm still growing.
You just made me think to myself, why am I a good writer? And I think that the reason I'm a good writer is because I'm not good at censoring myself. So that's a little thing that I have to offer to people. I'm really not good at censoring myself. So I just put it out there.
I love that, though. That's so freeing to me. Right?
Yeah, and now I'm attempting it in my cooking life. Because before I was the kind of person that's like, let me follow this recipe. Because I was afraid of doing it wrong or being laughed at or like somebody like being, oh, what is? Yeah. But, so instead I'm trying to embrace the things that are quirky about me because I want that same freedom that I have when I'm writing. So that's just my little thing.
So much. And
I'm so glad.
For me, in the journey of writing, it's like, I have all the stories and I can like paint the picture and I can see it so well. Yeah. But it's like, how do I on paper bring it from like point A to point B?
Right.
And with all the nitty gritty detail.
Yeah. It's dream and imagine and allow yourself to create an entire world that you might throw away or leave to someone for something else later. Because it's okay. Because as you develop the writing, it becomes more and more apparent to you that that's actually not what she would do at all. Kind of like your costume design, where you're kind of like, they wouldn't wear that. I know that they wouldn't wear that. Right. So we have to start that over. So that type of thing. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad I could provide value to you.
I love that. Absolutely.
You give me so much value. So this is good. This is a good exchange. Okay. Would you rather create a film that is critically acclaimed but not widely seen, or a film that is a commercial success but critically panned? Like, boo.
But
Yikes.
is a success?
No, it's not a success. Well, it's a success for you, but the critics say that it's not.
I think I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah, right? Because I don't care what you say.
Critics, like, it's up to me.
Yes, we want to give them the finger, the middle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, would you rather work with your film idols on one project or have the freedom to make whatever film you want for the rest of your life? Ooh. Whoa. I don't know where I get these things.
You know what? Though I love my idols, I rather work and create the film that I want to create. And I'm always like the advocate for like the person who just needs a chance, who nobody may not know, because I feel like I'm that girl.
Yeah.
So, like, I advocate for those ones.
Yeah, you are that girl. You are that girl. Okay, would you rather explore deep emotional themes or create lighthearted comedies?
Deep emotional. That's where I live. Give me the deepness. Yeah,
the gush. I want the gush.
These layers. Let me go deep with it. Yeah, that's where I like to live as an artist.
I love it. Okay, here's another question about your work. How did the concept of remote paradise come about, and what personal experiences did you draw from to create this story?
Okay, so Remote Paradise, it's currently my latest film that I directed. I did not write this one. This one was co-written by Tasia Harris and Troy Crossfield. And but in the earlier stages, of course, it was a conversation that we all had and stuff. And it is lighthearted and witty and based on the experience of working from home. What that looks like when you get called back into the office after like 2 and 3 years of not having to be there, and just kind of like
culture shock.
Yeah, exactly. All of that. Right. And so though I never really had the work from home experience, the other elements of it are like the girlfriend relationship and the guy and having like a hot guy, to hang out with while you're working from home and all those.
Right.
So those were the elements that I kind of like draw from, my personal experience. And I'm like, I just want to interject like what the real experience of this could have and probably did look like for a lot of people. So I feel watching Remote Paradise, it's lighthearted but it's super relatable.
Right? Yeah. It's super relatable. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, and I heard that you're writing your first feature film.
I am.
But I've also heard that you've said it is both challenging and rewarding.
Yes, all of the above. I was a part of this producer program earlier this year with Black Women in Film, which was like such an amazing opportunity, and I learned so much. But through that, by the end of the program, we were challenged to create the first version of a pitch for the film, and I was like, how do I pitch a film when I don't fully know what it's about yet? You know what I mean? But what I had to do was just use the information that I had. I knew that I know what I want the story to be about. I know the things that I want to highlight in the story. And now it's that challenge of, okay, sit down and write your details, write your moments to moments, right? Yes. So that's where I'm at with it right now. But I'm so excited because, again, it's my first feature, and it's during the pitch, similar to the reception of Roni with the Audience Award. During the pitch, the concept was very well received, and it was kind of like, oh, so this also makes sense in your brain the way it makes sense in my brain. Great, I have something here, So that's how I'm feeling currently, and so it's a personal task for myself. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I am looking forward to the journey, and we'll see how it goes. I'll be
love
calling
it.
you at some point. Once I have something,
Listen, I'm here for you. I'm here for
I
you.
want to be calling you. Like,
I'm more than happy to do so. Which brings me to like the project that we collaborated on, which was Thirsty AF, my first everything when it comes to film. And I couldn't have asked for a better lead actress than with you. We had interviewed a lot of people, but also people weren't exactly showing up to take the role. And I thought, I wonder if the name of this book is really disturbing to people. Like The Adventures of a Recovering Sex Addict is like, oh, meanwhile, there's sex everywhere you look in our community, in our society. So it's like, get over it. It's not even about the sex. And so it's like, that's what makes it even funnier. But I think I read in an article, and maybe I said it or you said it, but Thirsty AF delves into the life of Callie Church as she navigates the potential of her future while dealing with traumas from her past. How did you personally relate to the character of Callie Church, and what aspects of her journey resonated with your own experience?
Oh man, first of all, like it's interesting when you say, people weren't really running to the character. Maybe there was something throwing them off, where as soon as I read it, I was like, head first, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm drawn by character and character development and that kind of thing. So one of the first things that drew me to Callie was the raw vulnerability, doing and saying all the things that most people would want to, but don't, or are afraid of being judged, or all of those things. And I think that just as a woman, as a Black woman, as a sexual being, as a human being, we all, I can identify with that, and the journey of her finding herself, and how that shows up. I think that was another part that really that I connected with deeply. Just kind of like, who am I, and who am I in this season of my life?
Right.
That changes, right?
Plot twist.
Yeah. And so those were the main things that drew me to her and made me feel like, and then again, just the actor challenge of it, but also like I'm playing like you, and like the conversation of like, oh, okay, like this is just so like, this is like my ideal actor challenge right now,
Wow.
So
to act the role of the person directing you as a different person,
and to like get cues from you, and to understand, like, we had so many conversations prior to shooting certain scenes, right? Be like, okay, where were you mentally here, or how did you feel, or what was the backstory that led to this moment? And as an actor, it's like, what a treat to get that much information, and be able to run with it,
that was just blessed, and you definitely blessed it. Can you share any specific moments during the making of Thirsty where you feel like you face significant emotional or creative blocks, and how you overcame them to bringing the authentic Callie story to life? Like, I think of the scream, but I don't know if that was the most challenging or.
Yeah, you know what? It was. It definitely was during that time. Again, from you sharing your story of where that, or what happened in that situation, and where that scream came from, I thought about my own life. And though I may not have had the same experience, I thought about the women in my life who I know have. And I thought about something you said to me, which was, I'm screaming on behalf of the women who can't, and like, I'm getting chills right now just thinking.
Me too.
Oh, that is so real. And I felt such a responsibility in that moment. And though it's such a small portion of the film, it was very heavy.
Yeah.
And like, so the tears that came out in that moment, they were real. The wrenching scream was real. Like, yeah. I
I'm
would
glad.
say
And,
that.
my hope would be that it releases something, not only for you, but for everybody who watches as well.
Mhm.
Even if, but it first has to come up. And this is where I wonder with my guests, like when that feeling comes up of wanting to suppress or censor, and it gets caught here or here or here,
Mhm.
what are you doing to move it through, either to make it go back to where it needs to be safe, or how to bring it out and feel like confident that you're not going to be judged to the point of rejection?
Mhm.
And that's a hard question. So, we can try to figure it out together, but
Yeah, I think the only thing that releases me into that experience in my own life is ignoring the part that you said just now, which is the fear of rejection.
mhm.
And I think because a lot of what we do or don't do is based on what other people will think, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And like even in my own life, like currently, I am actively learning how to communicate the thoughts that I really want to share, even if they make me look vulnerable or weak
Yes.
or
Yes.
silly or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Whatever it is.
Like
Mhm.
I just move past that because I'm like, at the end of the day, I owe myself my truth, you know,
Mhm.
and I think there's so much more strength in releasing all of those things,
Yeah.
those painful, weird places. That to me is a strong person, you
Mhm.
know.
I love it.
Yeah. So it's not easy. It's not easy. It still hurts like
No.
hell.
It hurts, and that's the part that people don't realize is that we're not sharing this advice to be like, "And then everything will be great."
Oh no,
No.
it's gut wrenching half the time.
Yeah.
The anxiety, the heart palpitations, it never ends.
But this is why
But
they don't wanna do it.
yeah,
But you have to do it because only in the doing will you know the benefit of it on the other side. And
yeah,
so,
exactly.
yeah, this is my whole life's work now, is to let people feel what they feel and let
Yeah,
them know it's okay.
yeah,
You're okay. We got you.
ex- exactly.
So you not only acted in the Thirsty AF as Cali Church, you also partnered with me as a producer on this production,
Mhm.
which I'm so grateful for because it's a first for me. And to have somebody who has been through their own journey and then getting to collaborate and be like, well, we don't know how to do this. Well, we'll figure it out type of thing. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. That is sisterhood, people.
Yes, absolutely.
That is sisterhood. So Thirsty Up is not just a film. It's a reflection of our own growth and potential traumas that we may have had to go through, but we also had to brave putting it into the film festivals around the world and that nerve-wracking experience of, are we going to get in? Are we not going to get in? So what has been the most challenging aspect of submitting Thirsty AF to film festivals, and how have you dealt with any of the rejections or setbacks along the way?
Yeah, I think well, as I've had a conversation with you many times before, and when it comes to festivals, it's like of course it's disappointing not to get in, but at the same time, it doesn't like devalue the work that you've done,
Right.
and that
Right.
is something that as a producer, I and even as an actress, as the front facing person, you know what I mean, all of those things, it's like, and you as a director, first time debut, all of the things, it's like that's the thing to remember. uh,
Mhm.
and having sat on a board of judges for festivals in the past,
Wow.
I know that sometimes it has nothing to do with the content and everything to do with like how long it is, or does it fit into the time slot that we have, or do we have
Right.
films that are already in this category and we need one that's a bit different. So there's a similar to being an actress and doing an audition. It's like,
Yeah.
I get the part, I thought I killed it. When really sometimes it's not even about you. You know?
Yeah.
But what I appreciate and love the most about our journey thus far with Thirsty and festivals and all of that is through this experience, you as a creative and a writer have kind of rejigged your approach and your mind towards the story. You know,
Yes.
we went from having it at one length to another length and taking out some fluff and maybe like rewriting some parts. So to me, whether we get into festivals or not at this stage is not the end all. Or be like, in my mind, Thirsty is not done.
No, definitely not done by any means.
So I'm encouraged by that. And like you said earlier, this is just our learning process. We're here literally figuring it out together.
Yeah. And I'm glad that it's with you, I got to say. And the Pan-African Film Festival that was on August 17th was a great start to the journey of Thirsty being in films. And so I'm really grateful for that. We're going to end this interview with some rapid fire questions. Not the rapid fire. What's your go-to comfort film?
Comfort film?
Yes.
Ooh, I have two. Bridesmaids and Hitch.
Hitch, really?
Oh yeah, listen.
I only watch Hitch for the part where he gets all swollen. Oh my God.
Bridesmaids and Hitch are the movies, like if you don't want to be annoyed, don't watch them with me because I'm going to say every line.
That's really perfect.
Oh yeah?
Perfect? Oh my God. I got to learn how to do that damn cup song because I love that
movie.
The acapella of No Diddity. No.
Fire. I love that scene. I know like the in my head.
I think we should just redo it.
Right? Okay.
Who is your dream actor to work with?
Ooh. I have a few, but like okay, off top, I gotta say my girl Viola Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Anything, right? Anything.
Anything. Any genre, anything. Throw me in there with Miss Davis and I'm good.
I don't think of myself as an actress, but I would love to direct her because I would learn so much.
Oh, 100%.
From her. It would totally be a collaboration. So yeah. I would love that. One word to describe your directing style.
Collaborative.
Yeah, mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Best piece of advice you've received thus far for your career or in general?
Ooh. Do it and make mistakes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, make the mistakes. It's okay. You can clean it up. Sometimes mistakes turns into something more beautiful.
Exactly.
I've come to know that. That's for sure.
Same.
Right? What do you thirst for the most in life?
Ooh. Exploration. I'm such a curious person. I feel like I can talk to anyone and learn something.
Definitely you can learn something.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, where are you blocked and what commitment are you making to become unblocked?
Ooh. I am blocked in my confidence as a writer right now. And how I'm working on it is writing.
Good.
A good right now.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What commitment do you think that you can make to all of the viewers to say, or our listeners to say that in spite of this block that I am feeling,
in spite of this block that I'm feeling, I'm going to write my feature film by 2025.
Or sooner.
I'm giving myself a little timeline. You know what I mean? So girl hitting me up like, girl, where's that script?
Because you know I will. I love that. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Sheronna, for being in the Writer's Block podcast. You are an amazing guest. You are wise and beautiful and vulnerable and all of the things. And I'm really looking forward to what Thirsty is about to morph into because I talked to my lawyer the other day and we have some good things coming. And I want to thank my sponsors, TRF Media, big up yourself, Mello, producer extraordinaire, and my own personal wine label with Thirsty AF, courtesy of CH Houghton Wines. I love you for taking the opportunity to believe in me. Head over to thisislawade.com to purchase yours because, the LCBO is closed. And so you may need the little $20 wine. I got Riesling, I got Chardonnay, I got Moscato, I got all the things, even red. I got a Merlot as well. So head on over to thisislawade.com. If you want to reach me, I'm at This Is LA Wade Inc. on Instagram. More creative things for our journey with the podcast is at the writersblock.podcast. And Sheronna, what are you doing and how do they reach you?
I can be reached at Your Sheronna on socials and across all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, all of the things. My website is being done. It will be done by time this comes out, I guess. So, website, SheronnaOsbourne.com. Hit me up. And let's collaborate. Actor, producer, writer.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. I'm your host, Ellie Wade. Thank you so much for being in the Writer's Block podcast. Remember, you're more resilient than you think. Get out there, keep writing, don't censor yourself, and get unblocked. See you next time. Peace.
You're listening to the Writer's Block podcast with L.A. Wade.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Sheronna Osbourne, actress, director, writer, producer, and I just got unblocked on the Writer's Block podcast. Something I would love to leave the audience with, plain and simple, do it scared. Do it terrified, do it nervous, but just do it, whatever that thing is for you.